You on repeat, you can see, cause you have closed your eyes. You say you listen, but you're missing what it's all about. Right out now, have you given up? I will never stop, yeah.
Hello everybody, this is Ginger. As I've promised to you in my last video, I wanted to make a series of videos showing you how I've moved from Daejeon to Seoul. It's not just gonna be about my moving day, which I also recorded, but I also wanted to provide you with some information of how to search for an apartment in Korea. So if you're planning to move to Seoul or to Korea soon, and you're curious about what are the processes of finding an apartment here, you're on the right video, and I really hope it will help you because it can be very tricky for foreigners at the first place. The whole real estate in Korea is very different from other countries, so I hope this video is going to be very informative to you, and let's jump right to it. So let's start with the first theme, how to search for an apartment. So there's actually two main ways to look for an apartment. You can either use an application to give yourself a first idea of what you're going to look for. Then you can also go directly to a 부동산, to a real estate. They are everywhere. So when you know approximately in which area you want to live, then you can directly go to this area and just enter the first 부동산 you see in the street. Sometimes one realtor will have different offers and another one will have different offers, so it's always worth checking different ones. So I think you will guess the most efficient way here is to download the 부동산 application. So 부동산 is real estate. Actually in France, when you're looking for an apartment, people are usually more looking on websites on their computers, whereas in Korea, it's much more convenient to look on your phone. So we're gonna do it together. The most famous application, the most popular one is called Jikbang, but there are also other applications that I downloaded. I didn't limit myself to one because the offers are not the same on each application, or sometimes you can find the same places but at different prices, or different information can be displayed, so it's always worth comparing and checking different applications, but it's up to you. If you don't have the Korean keyboard, you can probably write it in English as well. Okay, that works. For information, I think that all those applications are only in Korean, in Hangul, so I think it's better for you to have some basic knowledge of Hangul at least to be able to read the app. Here we are. Here is the thing. When you're in Korea and you're looking for a place to live, usually you have to choose between 4 options. So here they suggest 아파트, the first one, which is an apartment. Apartment is not really the same thing that it would be in France or in other countries, I presume. Apartments in Korea are places that are more on the expensive side. They're more for family. Usually they don't come up with a monthly rent. You usually buy them. Then we have like villas. Villas, they're much more lower places. It looks like a house from the exterior, and like one floor would be an apartment, second floor would be an apartment, third floor would be an apartment. The two types of good that you will probably be looking for as a student, as a single person who's looking for a job, or like you don't have much spare money, then you're most likely gonna look for a one room or an office style. So a one room is usually a studio and it's owned by a private owner that you're going to deal with. Whereas an office style is a place like I'm living in, and they're located on top of a store or a cafe or a restaurant. So you have a business on the first floor, and then on the upper floors you have like a lot of very identical apartments that you can rent, and the whole building is managed by one organization. Whereas one rooms, there can be any types of one rooms. There can be like new ones, there can be old ones, beautiful ones, ugly ones that are located underground, ones that are very high and very nice views, so it really depends. So you have 2 ways of searching now. You can either choose to be located next to a specific station. So let's say, for example, I want to be located in Gangnam Station. Okay, line 2, Gangnam, and you want to be in the area like 10 minutes away maximum from Gangnam, so 도보 10분 거리. Alright, and these are all the goods located maximum 10 minutes away from Gangnam Station. The other way, the one I was using, is 지도로방 찾기. So you're looking per area. So if you choose this option, you will be able to see all the good located in a certain area on the map. So you can search directly on the map, which is quite convenient. This is actually how I've done my searching. So I knew, for example, I want to be located in between Gangnam-yeok and Sinmunyeok, so on this street in between. And then I can click this line below, and it shows me all the apartment in this area, like appearing on the screen. The more you zoom, the more precise you are with the numbers of apartments located in each areas. It doesn't work on my iPad, but usually you can click on the numbers and it will show you only the apartments located in this number area. Let's say I want to live somewhere here, so I click there. So here we are. Now, next question. What about the prices? This is the question that scares most of people and most people are curious about. Okay, I chose a very expensive area, so don't be startled by this. There are different factors that will affect the price of apartments, and that's pretty much the same in every country. The first most important one is the location. Another factor is the date of construction, size, and the floor of your apartment. The higher the floor, the more expensive. And the view, because there is a lot of high buildings in Korea, and even sometimes when you're located on the higher floor, if you have a building right in front of your window, it's not so great. So I think it also have an impact on the price of the goods. In general, the monthly rent, so the 월세 of office sales would be around $500 to $1,000 per month. And the prices of apartment really varies on the types of good you're looking at. But the one rooms, it really varies. You have like very different types of one rooms. So it's really difficult to say, but you can have like cheaper goods than for office styles. So you can even find for $300 a month. The main difference between one rooms and office styles, when you're renting a one room, you will have to pay your rent and then your bills. When you're renting an office style, you'll have to pay your rent, you will have to pay the 관리비, which is the maintenance fee, and then you will have to pay the bills. So you have an additional expense to pay. When you're renting a place in Korea, you will most likely have to pay a deposit. The minimum deposit money that you have to pay for one room would be the price of 1 month rent, although it's very uncommon. The higher your deposit money is, the lower you will have to pay your rent. When it comes to office styles, since it's more regulated, usually the deposit for an office style goes from $5,000 to $30,000, although it can be higher. If you want to lower your rent by $50 a month, then you will have to add up $10,000 to your deposit. It sounds like a lot of money, but when you think about it, you're actually recovering your deposit money when you leave the apartment. So it's just a kind of invested money. If you can afford for more deposit, you can ask for negotiation. You can ask the landlord if he would agree to raise the deposit money to lower your rent. It's possible, although it's less and less popular. Then how to read the prices on the application. This is something that can be really confusing if you don't know about it at the first place. So here you have the different prices here, like in bold letters. So the number on the right here is actually the amount of your monthly rent. 월세 is what we call the monthly rent. Don't think this is 90,000 won. In Korea, they have a very specific way of counting. So instead of talking in thousands, they talk in man. So you have to actually add 4 zeros after the number. So here, we're not talking about 90,000 wons, we are talking about 900,000 wons. And the number on the left here is the amount of the quotient. So again, if you're applying the same logic, this is 1,000,000 won. And actually $1,000,000 is really not expensive. This is probably because usually when you see a lower deposit money and a bigger rent, it suggests that the landlord is thinking about renting it for a short-term period. So usually it's not attractive for the people that want to stay for the longer term. And it's usually harder to negotiate the deposit money with this type of good than for any other type of good. Here you have a specific area where the 관리비 amount is written. But if you go down, here there is a specific section for the 관리비, and this is more trustworthy than the first one. So here it's actually stated that you have to pay the 7만 won, so the 70,000 won. And then it tells you what the 관리비 includes. So the maintenance fee usually includes basic services like the management of the building, the cleaning of the building, this kind of things. If you look at this office style, so in this building, the electricity, the gas, the water and the internet is separate. 별도 here means it's separate. If it would be included, the feature included, for example, usually it's water. 소도, 포함. 포함 means included. So you have to pay all those in the form of bills. 관리비 포함 is television here. So here television fee is included in the 관리비. Then other information that you can see on this page is the 면적, so the surface of the apartment. 주차 here is whether it has a parking lot or not. 불가능 means no. 가능 means yes. Elevator, so whether there is a lift or not. 없음 means there isn't. 있음 means there is. Then you have 입주 가능일, which is the date of availability of the apartment. So sometimes you have a date written here, like for example 1st of August this year. But here it's written 즉시 입주, which means that it's available right away. Then again the 관리비 7만 원. 고조 is the form of your apartment. 오픈형, which is just a studio-like apartment. And then you also have the 복층. 복층형 is the duplex kind of place. And then you have a little stairs going up, and you have a very little space upstairs for you to place your mattress and sleep there. 욕실 한 개, so there is one bathroom. There is another thing that you have to check while looking for an apartment in Korea. Sometimes, or traditionally, most of the time in Korea, there is no shower booth. Your bathroom is a shower. So if you're not comfortable with showering above your toilets, then you will have to check that the apartment you're looking for has a shower booth. 방향? 방향 is the orientation of your apartment, and this is so important. Here it's 남향, so it's south. You want light, you want sun to enter your apartment, and this is so important, especially in Korea because it's very humid, as you might know. If you're located on the north, you will have no sunlight entering your room, so if it's very cold, you'll have to pay more for the 난방, the heating. If you don't have enough sunlight entering your room, it's very dark and you can really easily have some moss problems. So 남향 is south, 북향 is north, 동향 is east, and 서향 is west. Then 조공 날짜 is the date of construction. So here you can see it was constructed in 1997. Then you have the floor in which it's located. So here it's written that it's on the 4th floor. On 4 floors, you're on the top floor. Sometimes realtors will actually not tell you on which floor the apartment is located, so they will just tell you if it's on 저층, so it's on the lower floors, or 중층, it's middle floors, or 고층, 고층 is the highest floors. 주소 is address, and I'm very surprised they give actually the address here. Usually they don't, or they just give like the area. I think it's safer to just give an area. Then you have all the features that the place includes. Right, so this is mostly the kind of information you will find on these applications. Then here you have the name of the real estate. What you can do if you're a foreigner is click 문의하기 here. You have your phone number, and usually they will call you, so if you're not confident with your Korean, just don't answer and write back to them with a message. Here you have some information about the realtor. It's written that they can speak in English. And another way to contact the realtor is to add directly his Kakao ID, which is written here, so you just add his name on Kakao and you can directly write to him if you're not comfortable talking to him by phone. You can directly contact the realtor to ask him some questions. You can also directly make an appointment to visit the apartment. It usually doesn't take long, so you can usually visit the same day or the day after. Look at the light. This is like when you're going through a real estate agency, you obviously will have to pay an agency fee. How much do you have to pay? This depends on the price of the good. The higher you pay for your monthly rent, the more you will have to pay the agency fee. So let's go straight to the contract part. If you can, and especially for this part, bring a Korean with you. The contract will be fully in Korean. So there is a lot of information in there, so let's go through it now. First page of your contract, usually you will have the information about the landlord, your information. So when you go sign a contract, you have to bring your identity card, whether it is your ARC or your passport. They will copy your information and include it in the contract. They will give like the basic information of the apartment, so the surface, date of construction, the address, this type of basic information. Then the rent and the deposit money, as well as the date of entry or expected entry. In my case, the place that I chose, it was not available at the time I chose it, so I had to wait a little bit for the person to leave the place. And my deposit is 10 million. So if you're not moving straight to the place you chose because the place is not yet available, then you will have to already pay 10% of the deposit money to reserve this place for you. And you will have to pay the rest of the deposit money, so for me, 9 remaining millions on the day of entry, at the same time as my first monthly rent and the agency fee. So on this contract, they also provide you with the bank information of your landlord and the bank information of your agency. And then you have the terms of the contract. Quite long here, it's 2 pages, and it basically tells you what are your duties, what are you not allowed to do in the place, what are the duties of the landlord and such things. So it's worth going through it, especially for the things you cannot do. So I really suggest you have somebody with you if you cannot speak Korean fluently, because there are really specific terms. I was reading it at the same time by myself, and there are really specific terms. So if you're not fluent, I really recommend that you have somebody with you. Together with this contract, you will have other papers to check, which will be the money information about your landlord, so you can know how big is actually his debt. Alright, I think I touched on everything. Also be aware that if you're looking for an apartment in a big city like Seoul, the 부동산, the real estate is really moving fast here. So if you have a place that you like, you better take it right away. Otherwise, somebody else will take it before you. I signed my first contract in Korea. In my next video, I will show you the whole process of packing and moving from Daejeon to Seoul. I recommend you to subscribe to not miss this out, and don't forget to like the video if it helped you. Alright, good luck for your hunting if you're doing it. You can do it, hunting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!